Record.
All right. Good morning. This is Luke Miller. I'm going to call to order the Economic Development and Tourism Board meeting for August on August 14th, a little after 8 a.m. We have a quorum present. Great. We start with approval of minutes or citizen comments.
Approval of minutes.
All right.
First.
Great. I think we all have a copy of the minutes. Would entertain a motion to approve them or any discussion on them.
Motion to approve.
Any opposed? All right, we'll consider the prior minutes from July approved. Any citizens with comment?
No citizens are present.
Then we can move into closed session.
It just reports and presentations, so no closed
Okay.
session today.
All right. So our first is to receive a report and hold discussion on staff updates, sales tax report, and board member updates.
So if you flip through to the third page of your packet, Susan prepared the staff memo that has our sales tax collection information. And so it looks like for July, the receipts were 6.8% higher than June. So month over month, we had a 6.8% increase in sales tax. So that's really good. Very positive indicator for our businesses. And then year over year, when you compare July 2024 to 2023, we're up almost 10%, 9.8%. So, and I anticipate that's just gonna go higher as, of course, we get more and more restaurants. Tony C's is about to open, and there's HTO, and then a custard place, and then there'll be a chicken place there. So, I mean, we won't have to go very far for food anymore. Kind of nice.
Great.
So, I believe that's really all we had in the sales tax. Other than we love to point out how the positive the sales tax is growing. So, let me just close this door. But if we had updates, Dr. Wright, I know you kind of told us a little bit about the first. I think anything else? You had a new
Just-
school open.
Yeah, we had we had our opening for our 16th elementary school, Cullen Elementary, and went really well. It was really special because Mr. Cullen was a teacher in the district and then part of our communications department, and to see everything come full circle. So he taught 4 of the teachers that are now teaching on the campus that bears his name. And then there were so many students, he was there yesterday, so many students that he taught that their children are now going to that school.
Oh.
So that's kind of special when
yes,
that
that's
happens.
very special.
But on paper, if they all show up, as of yesterday, we had 25,018 kids. And
All registered.
so up on paper, it looks like about a 1,500 student gain from the previous year. And
What
so
percent increase is that? I mean, I could probably do that.
It's
Do you know off the
it's around. We usually average 6% per year, but it's around 8 to 9. So we'll see if they all show up. I mean, should be getting counts today, and then we'll track it this week. And usually we get additions all the way through Labor Day, because some people still have the mindset you don't start school till after Labor Day, and they don't. And so
Yeah.
so they show up at that time. But no, everything.
Wishful thinking. My
Yeah,
kids.
everything's good start so far.
Do you have any feel for what's organic community growth versus relocation?
Most of it is affordable housing and people coming in from Austin and from other areas. We get a lot from out of state as well. But most of it, we see like Austin ISD is declining almost at about the same rate that some of our other districts around the area are increasing. Yeah, so a lot of growth that way.
Morning.
For you. We were just doing board member updates. You want to take a minute to grab coffee around the corner?
Sure.
And there's breakfast tacos.
Thank you.
No rush. We'll get into the meat of the stuff in a minute, but Dr. Wright was giving the school district update. So you were saying that the decline in AISD is the same growth that the other surrounding.
Pretty close.
Districts are
If you added ours and then like Liberty Hill. Liberty Hill's fast growth, Hutto's fast growth now. Gerald,
Oh, wow.
even Thrall.
Never heard of that.
It's a little
Is that
bitty
a-
place past Hutto on 79 going in that direction. But if you take and add, that's you see that people just can't afford to live in Austin anymore, and so they're finding other communities around the area to go, and so that's kind of why I think around 80% of our families still report that they work in Austin. So, but they just commute.
That's part of my strategic plan as well. That's kind of in line with how many people, we'll get into that, but yeah, you're exactly right. The new elementary school that is at the, what they're calling now the Infinity Project, it's developed by Rastegar. What is
Over
the
off
status?
Gristmill.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in progress, and it'll open next August.
Okay, somebody asked me. I think the ABJ asked about it, and we deferred them over to you. We're like, I don't know the exact status, but
And we
okay.
have projects going on at Lehman. Lehman, we're adding on career technology wing and a new auditorium. And at Johnson, we're adding on more seats and a larger band hall and an orchestra space just because of growth in those programs. And at Hayes High School, we're adding a new weight room on. We just finished a fine arts wing at Wallace Middle School. We have like 14 projects going on right now, so
Well,
there are a lot.
we had pre-development meeting with some of, the staff, and it was surprising. Some of the schools are adding another level. Is that coming in the
Yes,
future?
well,
Yeah.
I mean, well, at Johnson, we already have three floors, but like at Lehman, we don't have any more land, and our high school
Go up.
sites require 80 to 100 acres, and we have 46 acres there. So as we go, the only place we can move is up,
Up.
and we're building additional parking. We're having to build a retaining wall on the back side of the football field, and we're gonna have we're moving the band marching pad down there,
Mhm.
along with the ROTC marching pad and parking down at the very base. And then we'll turn the current band marching pad over for parking. But it's going to be interesting. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one way in and out of Lehman, and my chief operating officer yesterday told me it took him 50 minutes to get from our office to Lehman. I mean, and he could have walked. That's what I
Yeah.
told him. I said, next time, just walk, man.
Mhm.
But
Well, your
it's-
new
it's okay.
administrative offices are open.
they are.
Are you going to be offering tours?
Yeah,
and-
eventually we're
Maybe
still.
we could, if you have a room where maybe we can host a meeting there, just so we could see it.
And that's where we're going to have our state of the district, so that we
Okay.
can hopefully show off the building at that time. But it's nice. The design is multi-purpose, so we have 4 training rooms inside of the boardroom,
Mhm.
and so you can have one big training facility or divide it up into smaller ones. And then we have what we call the mall area that's also designed for training, and so we have 300 employees now, all under one space for the first time. And it's so nice to be able to
Yeah.
go up the stairs and talk to employees, or go across the hall instead of having to drive 30 minutes
Mhm.
and then 30 minutes back for people to have, face to face. So.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, that's great. I mean, your story is just very similar to all the growth that we're experiencing here. And I know you're going to get a little tour, but when you leave, go
Yeah, I was like,
that way. Yeah. And see, that I don't, it's crazy. We've outgrown City Hall completely. We're looking for new office space as well ourselves for our Parks Department, for some administrative, even Public Works has outgrown their facilities. So very exciting times. to be
Challenging, but
here.
it's a great problem to have. isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
Thank you for the update.
Mhm.
Spencer, do you have anything? Julian?
Nothing new on our
A
end.
little break maybe from, is there like a little dip that,
There's a tiny, like, usually first day of school, our sales go crazy because everybody's in, celebration mode.
oh yeah.
So yesterday was a crazy day for us, but it starts to slow down a bit. Doesn't really slow down till about maybe late November, past Thanksgiving and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that this winter, it was just crazy the whole year, which is good.
Yeah.
Like we don't usually travel in the winter. And we're like, I don't know if we can take off, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, good problem to have, you know? But yeah, growth and, I need to talk to Lauren about,
No, we've
yeah,
been trying to get with you.
possibilities here in the area again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of growth. What's been interesting is that whenever we are shortlisted for a project at the Greater San Marcos Partnership, a lot of them also will kind of hear them whisper, "Oh, when we were or when we were at
Mhm.
Cedar Park yesterday
Hmm.
or Round Rock," and so with them wanting to be in the region, definitely not in Austin, but looking at the outward bands, a lot of times they do see our cost of our industrial space or our land and very quickly knock out the north. So we are seeing a lot more of the north being knocked out of progressing for shortlists, which is very exciting. Of course, they have their other states that they're looking at and things like that. But when it just comes to our region, that Georgetown, Round Rock, Cedar Park, even then, land, that's just not achievable anymore. Because even then, them looking at, okay, what does housing look like? Okay, things don't start until the X dollars out up there, but they do in this type of region. That's exciting. Seeing a lot more power, a lot more water. But thankfully, I think a lot of them are starting to realize how can we mitigate that water? How can we mitigate that? And so a lot of them are trying to come up with water reuse, things like that. And so, which I'm learning more about a lot of these technology assets as I feel like the day goes by and every day is a new concept, but a lot of them, especially with the chip boards, they're able to stick it in the water and have that water just cycle through instead of pumping new water.
Oh, yeah.
And so just things like that to where they're really trying to appeal to the areas and use half as much water as
Yeah.
possible. So
Recognize our challenges, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And so, and in that, it's been fruitful to be able to share to developers saying, yes, I will help bring the company, but do you have the infrastructure? And that's something that I feel like is always learning, growing with our utility companies and saying, okay, and our site owners where you may have X acres, but do we have utilities to the site? Could we build, a substation to get power there? What does that look like? And so really good symbiotic relationship. But yes, a lot of growth happening fast, but also seeing that excess coming from Austin and just kind of moving down a lot more south than the north. So yeah.
Any hospital updates for us?
Yeah, from the hospital, most recently we celebrated CMS 5-star designation. So that's Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Every year they provide a star designation, 5-star being the top. It's an indicator of hospital quality. So that puts Ascension Seton Hayes in Kyle, Texas in the top 8% for this category across the country. So that's 181 hospitals out of about, I think it was four to 5,000.
That's great. Congratulations.
It's phenomenal. It's truly phenomenal for the community, right? Because it means that essentially the residents and anyone who works here or is in the community doesn't have to leave to receive great care. They don't have to travel into Austin to receive that. So it's definitely an accolade, I think, for not only the hospital but for the city of Kyle. There's about 4 in the Austin area that received this designation, which is, I think, speaks to the overall collective healthcare community in Austin and in Texas. But outside of that, it's pretty sparse. So it was very nice little kind of ceremony and recognition, and thanks to the mayor who came and gave a little speech.
Oh
very,
yeah,
very
you know
nice.
what? He recorded it and sent
Oh,
it to me
did he?
and Brian.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
so we got to listen to it.
Wonderful.
So it was really nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. So two of the top 2 employment providers here in the city is the school district and the hospital. So we're happy to have you all here with us. So yeah, lucky. Okay. Well, I don't have any real other updates other than I want to spend the next 30 minutes or so going over the strategic plan.
All right, we'll go ahead and move to the strategic plan.
So that is the next page here. It's this big PowerPoint, yeah, the second page that I gave you, and then the strategic plan. So I think what I'll start with is this will go to council on the 20th. Oh, also Eddie will be presenting the board's findings on the hot fund research, the hot tax research that you'll help to compile. And he will be presenting that on the 20th, early in the meeting, and then my staff presentations are towards the end of the meeting. So Eddie won't have to wait all night there with me, but
The city just declined to vote on the sports complex.
yes,
that
that's correct. To put it on the bond, yeah, to put it on the ballot for a bond. So what we're moving forward with is really focusing on the money we have available that the voters have already approved, which is $7 million from the city, $7 million from the county for an outdoor sports complex. So we'll put our efforts into the outdoor amenities. Yeah, so there was already money that was approved in 2020, and we were trying to just combine the project and make it a larger destination draw, but council wasn't ready for that, so that's okay. We'll keep working at it. Maybe once the outdoor portion gets developed, then maybe we'll have some private investment from a private developer that may want to do the indoor with us as well. So we're not giving up on it. It's a really nice project, and it's a nice area that'll be growing.
Same area or same area?
Yes, it's exactly the same.
Okay.
We're just,
Mhm.
But we're going to hold off on that. So how I will start the discussion is going through the PowerPoint with council. I think less likely they will look through the actual plan because this is just a draft. So, but everything that is in the PowerPoint is really in the plan. And based off of their feedback, then I'll adjust the plan, and then this will come back before council and get approved, hopefully, with the city's overall strategic plan that will go to council in September. And so you'll see how here. So if you flip to the first page, our assistant city manager presented on May 22nd the city's strategic plan, and I can share that with you. I maybe should have brought it to you, but one of the key initiatives is creating a thriving and prosperous economy, and so that's where economic development falls in, and then this is where I flesh out all the details of a thriving and prosperous economy. And of course, I'll be asking council for feedback on this, and then when our assistant city manager brings back the city plan, then we'll approve them both at the same time. I started off with some recent announcements. Most of these y'all have heard of, the Lake Park District, the Brick and Mortar District, where Sprouts will be, and then the Kyle Park District. So a lot of retail development. We are very focused on downtown redevelopment. So that's where we'll have Hayes County Barbecue that will be in the downtown area. And then Project Two Step, which will be over by the Dairy Queen on the east side of 35. I know that you also heard that the city acquired property in downtown for redevelopment as well. So that's a couple of the car washes, the pawn shop, and the Hay City Donut Shop. So we're working on a plan. Those businesses are not being kicked out. They're not going anywhere. They have a 1-year lease back with the city, but of course, if the timing has to work out for what we're doing and for what they're doing. We've been in contact with all of them very regularly, and we know that what the plan is for almost all of them. So rest assured, we're not kicking any businesses out of their current homes. So let me just talk a little bit about the population of Kyle. We estimate our current population at about 65,000. That's a 4% increase year over year. By 2030, we're expected to be at 82,000, and by 2040, 108,000. So that's about a 5% growth rate. So we are the second fastest growing community in Texas, just behind Georgetown, I believe, is the first. So you kind of see here's the graph just kind of shows you where Kyle falls in line with the other benchmark communities. So these are the benchmark communities we use for lots of different comparisons. Just a quick note, visually, I just wanted some feedback. Is this a good way to represent Kyle, or should we put them in order, like highest to lowest, and then put Kyle wherever it falls in the middle? Like visually, I can adjust the names. How are line graphs usually looked at? Like shortest to tallest, and then wherever Kyle falls in the middle. Would that be easier to?
Depends on your intended outcome. Like when I'm
Yeah.
presenting bond materials to voters, I always want to show how we're decreasing the tax rate. So,
Okay, yeah.
you arrange it according to market. So what do you want to say here?
Yeah, this one just seems so, even though like our increase is higher, maybe I could have done, the percent of increase in the communities instead of population. But yeah, I'll play around with this graph.
What area too? If you have like, New Braunfels, San Marcos, Kyle next to each other, it'll show kind of
Yeah.
south versus the north.
And then
think-
Georgetown, Leander, Cedar Park
I'm thinking more of
together.
areas, so you can see like that area up there has more.
Because Kyle is in the middle. And so what does that look like?
Yeah, what does the growth look
If
like?
Kyle
South
puts
of us,
in the middle, yeah.
Okay. Maybe
If it's truly informational, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. Well, thank you.
And if you're showing the growth percentage isn't a bad idea either.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
maybe I'll do
Kind of what I would like
the
to see.
benchmark. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the gentleman? Your new analyst, research analyst,
Daniel,
Dan?
he can do
Daniel.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was very helpful with some other information, and he's continuously asking me what I need for this.
Yeah.
I just haven't found out that what I need, but maybe he
No,
can
yeah.
help with it.
No, absolutely.
Okay, great. All right, then demographic profile. So our average age is 33. The median household income is 75, and then the average household income is 93. We're very evenly split with white and Hispanic. It's almost just split down the middle. And again, here's the median household income. I don't know. The line graphs are kind of throwing me off now as I just look at it with you. Maybe this one might be one, because what we're trying to say is that we need to recruit more higher paying jobs. So this one might be good to do like lowest to highest and see where Kyle lands in the mix,
Yeah.
because if we're in the lower end, we have work to do.
Yeah, it would only be third.
Okay. Yeah. So lowest to highest. Okay. The next one is educational attainment. Dr. Wright, if you see anything on here that I should add, I just took this from our, a demographic profile that we had. About 64% of our working age residents have some college degrees or higher. Looks like, we have the largest percentage of this graph is high school graduates, and then 21% have bachelor's degrees. Is there any more high school data I can put in here? Percentage of graduates or increase of graduates? Is there someone at your team I can work with to maybe grab some of this
Yeah,
information?
our chief academic officer has
Okay.
a guy that's really good at this.
Oh, okay. I can reach out to them. Who is that?
Maribel Cedillo.
Sevilla?
Cedillo.
Sevilla.
Cedillo.
Okay, I'll reach out to her. That might be some other good information to add on here. Okay, and then we get to the fun stuff, our employment analysis, which this is where you see what percentage of our working age residents are leaving each day to go to work. So about 72%. When we did this analysis in our previous strategic plan, it was about 80%. So we've made, that's probably good to know. I can go back to and just kind of say in 2016, when that study was done, it was 80%. And then now
Hmm.
we're at 72. So we
Yeah.
are making positive
No, yeah, that's great.
movement. Okay. And then it's of those 72%, that equates to about 20,000 residents leaving primarily to Austin to go work, and then about 1,000-ish employees remain in the city, and then we get almost 6,000 coming in here to work. And then I'll show you where they primarily work in a moment, but yep. And the next graph just really does show where they're going to work. So for Kyle, the majority of them are going into Austin, and then they go to San Marcos. They work at the school district, at Texas State is another big employer for Kyle. And then this is, we're third on the list of where we keep our residents. And then a good portion of them also go to San Antonio, which is a good commute for them as well. When you look at our benchmark cities on the next page, you'll see that we are very similar to Cedar Park, Pflugerville, Hutto, and Buda, where they're probably third on the list of where they keep their employees. Hutto is a little bit lower, but all of them are going into Austin. But look at the next page, and you could see this is where we aspire to be a little bit closer to like what Round Rock has, and even San Marcos. Round Rock's probably about 50-50, 50%. About 50% of those stay in Round Rock, and then the rest go into Austin. So you can see their line is a little higher. But San Marcos actually surpasses Austin, and that's probably primarily Texas State, and
it's probably younger demographic of people.
They stay within. They want to stay closer to where they went to school and where they graduated. The outlets are a big employment center. The warehousing district.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of that distribution, logistics, manufacturing. Yeah.
Yep. So good to kind of compare ourselves to San Marcos. If you look at the next pie graph, then you'll see the outflow of primary jobs by type. So of those 20,000 residents that leave to go to work elsewhere, about 45% of them are going to Austin. And then where they are going to work in what industries, and not necessarily just Austin, but this is where everyone is leaving to. Higher education, so that's UT and Texas State is the largest percentage, and then warehousing in Buda, in Kyle, in San Marcos as well, Buda and San Marcos. Retail services, which is the outlets, South Austin, South Park Meadows, and then medical, we have some that go up to the North Austin hospitals as well. Then we have state, federal, and then the ISDs as well. Pull some of our employees out.
What was the large single employer? Is that just one employer? Or is
Oh,
that like
yeah, and I probably should rename this. This was a little bit confusing, but there was a law firm, the McGinnis Law Firm in Austin, the census tract showed that a very large percentage of our residents work there.
12%? This one law firm?
Yes.
Really?
Well, it was a law firm, and then something else. I can look in a moment. But it was very odd, right? And we couldn't understand.
Out of the survey at a high.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe.
It's by address. So quite possibly within that
They've got like a
law
whole
firm,
neighborhood down.
well, they might have other offices in there. There could have, maybe some other business professional offices, like,
inside of the building.
right, maybe architects, engineers. It's when you physically look at, Google Maps, and we looked at that address, you see McGinnis Law Firm, but then is the whole thing a law firm, or
A lot of
do they
professional
lease
services there.
to others? Yeah. So it was really interesting.
Just
We couldn't
not
figure
what I
out.
expected you to say.
Right. Oh, Claire,
I thought it'd
yeah.
be like a Tesla or something.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
And this is data based off of census block data that we received in 2021. So, and that's the newest, most recent data. maybe Daniel has some different.
Yeah, he can
I'm
probably
gonna maybe
dig
run
up
this by him and see if.
and tweak a little
Well,
bit. Yeah.
And I'd
there's
probably
any-
be asking, can we bring that employer to Kyle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I would see that, and if our goal is to have residents.
Have you
live
thought
and work
about
here.
expansion to have an office, a satellite
You
office
get it a
here?
law firm. Yeah.
That's really what I would be curious about, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's really interesting. That address just had so many people going there. So, anyhow. Okay, so the next page, inflow, outflow of the median income, household income. So here's where you see that the people that are coming into work in Kyle, their median income, their is about 48,000. Those that stay here, the almost 1,000 that actually work here in Kyle, their median income is about 81,000. And then those that are leaving to go work outside of Kyle, it's 82,000. So it's just they're looking for that little bit higher paid job. If you go to the next page, you can see that those employees, that are coming into Kyle to work, they primarily work at this intersection of 1626 and I-35, which is the hospital, the Walmart's there, Target, HEB. So it's in that general area. So this is a large employment center for us, this intersection. Our average wages are about 52,000. So this gives us something to work towards, to increase these average wages. Most of the influx of people that are coming to Kyle come from San Marcos, Buda, and South Austin. Our major employers, first we have the ISD is our major employer. I did kind of call out that I think that Dr. Wright, some of your this could include the schools that are in Buda, right, and the one in San Marcos. So yeah, so I just wanted to make a note that not every single one of these is in Kyle, but I think their home base address, right, is listed as your administrative office.
Because we have a school that's registered to Niederwald, one that's Uland, and so they're in other areas as well.
Okay, but nonetheless, it is the largest employer. And then private employer, of course, is the hospital, Ascension Seton. The Amazon Sorting Center, and then HEB are, third and fourth. Just interesting fact to note that 40% of City of Kyle employees are residents here. So we have about, did I write it down on any of these? About 360 employees at the City of Kyle, and 40% of them live in Kyle. So that's good. Yeah. Just a quick note about our top sales tax generators. So Home Depot generates the most sales tax for us, followed by HEB, Costco, the Amazon Marketplace, Walmart, EEC. This was really surprising to me. I had no idea that they paid sales tax in the city, but they do. And then Target, Lowe's, Alsco, Amazon, Ross, and then we'll have Builders First Source coming online. They should be opening in the next 2 to 3 months. So this will add. They have $50 million in annual taxable sales. So they're very comparable to like Costco. So I imagine they will be right on up the list.
Sorry, who was that?
Builders First Source. They're the building that you see that's going up on the access road when you leave Center Street and you head towards Yarrington, like if you're going to San Marcos.
Yeah, okay.
That building that's there is Builders First Source. They are a relocation from Buda. They outgrew their space in Buda and they built here in Kyle.
That'd be nice, yeah.
So
Okay.
It was a nice expansion and retention for
Is Bucky's going to be in Kyle, or is it going to be in
They're
San
in
Marcos?
San Marcos.
San Marcos.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the San Marcos side.
Below the Yarrington exit, above the Chuck Nash.
Which is great for Kyle
Good
because
for us.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
it's in my backyard. I'll be able to see the
Yes.
Bucky sign from my backyard. But I'm excited because my son will be able to work there.
Yeah.
That'll be fun for him as a teenager.
Yeah, and
But
it's
also,
in the K school
we've
district.
seen a lot of activity now for the Kyle side of Yarrington.
Yeah.
That intersection there, of course, like they're ready to go because they know that Bucky's will bring all of that traffic there. So thank you very much for that. USMP and San Marcos for bringing that over to us. Okay, so key conclusions. Of course, most Kyle residents commute to other cities for work and jobs that pay higher wages than Kyle offers. The inflow of commuters to Kyle primarily work in retail services. Kyle's median wages are lower than our peer cities. This is the information that Daniel held. And again, I can probably think about how to maybe rank this, and lowest to
Yeah.
highest is probably low to, okay. And the Economic Development Strategic Plan must address these issues in addition to other key initiatives. So if you go to the next page, now we're on page 20. Our key initiative number 1 is to strategically develop the community into a destination for preferred employers by aligning economic development efforts within the following target sectors. So based off the analysis of the employment where people are going to work and why they are leaving, we'll continue our efforts on medical and healthcare, higher education, the business and professional services, warehousing and manufacturing, and family entertainment and recreation. So, this is remains from our previous strategic plan as well. We just have for family entertainment, recreation, we only have Evo, and then of course our outdoor parks. The new outdoor sports complex will definitely help, but yeah. So I was about to say something private. I forgot. Confidential. I just, we continue to get phone calls from entertainment facilities, so it's exciting now to be able to hopefully recruit 1 or 2 of them here for our families to stay here locally. And then business and professional services is also left over from the previous strategic plan. This was done in 2016, and we were going to recruit office developers, to build office in Kyle. And then by the time we almost had that ball rolling and ready to go, then the pandemic hit, and then so they put all that kind of on hold. But I think we could definitely pick that conversation back up again, especially office space in the realm of, maybe 2 stories at 40 to 60,000 square feet. I think that's still manageable. It's not downtown Austin type office that we're looking at. So the way we could do this, and we really want to spend time looking at our incentive packages, customized incentive packages tailored to our target sectors, and then of course focusing on the higher wage jobs for these target sectors. Great. Oh, I thought you had a question.
Oh, no.
And then identify and support the expansion of a business park or an employment center to meet the future needs of our community's business ecosystem. So right now we have some of our in business parks that are expanding. HPI will be building out another 40,000 square feet. But we want to continue identifying other developers in other areas that'll build these employment centers, because the rest of them are already all leased up. So those are the action plans for this key initiative for 2025. And then I don't want you to be having to go back and forth, but if you go to the actual plan, I fleshed out more details on those action items. It's more like details on how to do it and stuff. So and kind of like get into like the more granular level of what I will do to support these efforts. But for right now, we'll just be looking at the high-level key initiatives and see how council responds to those. And then I may have to adjust this based off of their feedback. Key initiative number 2, cultivate an environment that fosters innovation and provides support and encourage growth and development of small businesses throughout the city. So this has been a very big focus lately, especially with the downtown redevelopment efforts that we have. So a few months ago, I did present a small business kickstart program to the council, and they adopted it. And so it's just continuing to implement the programs that are outlined in there. Resources. We're going to host a small business resource summit, and just connecting businesses with the resources they need, and making more of an effort to, have our department be more visible to small businesses, so they know how we can help them and what we can do to help them. We do a lot of hand-holding for small businesses, one-on-one support. And Lauren's really great at that, at handling that task. I want to evaluate the incentives, our existing incentives. We have incentives like the First Year on Us, the restaurant incentive, and the downtown facade grant. But I think there's still enhancements that we can do to those incentives, and maybe even create other ones. So we'll be looking at the incentives, first part of when this is adopted. And then support downtown redevelopment efforts to create a vibrant area for small businesses to flourish. So this falls in line with having and adopting a plan for the city-owned property in downtown. We have one. It was presented to council. There was never a consensus of what they wanted to do. I think we presented too large of a plan. And maybe if we narrow it down and focus on just smaller projects, maybe beautification of Center Street, maybe a park, a linear park is another goal that we have. So if we bring project by project, maybe that'll be easier. The community will see the investment that we're making a little bit at a time, instead of trying to adopt the entire plan. Key initiative number 3 is workforce development, ensuring a sustained growth of a highly skilled workforce within the city. Lauren has been working very closely with the new CTE director, and she's met with them. GSMP was in the meeting, and so was Buda. So she's really happy to. Then they came up with some really good ideas of how they're going to economic development is going to engage with the CTE teachers, hear their needs, and then, of course, connect them with local businesses to hear what the local businesses' needs are. So they're doing a good job at that. Do you have?
Yeah.
No. Oh, someone came in. Recruit companies within the target industries. Hi, Susan. Okay, so the action plans would be to recruit companies within the target industries to reduce the outflow of local talent. And then identify, so this is how, we realize that the people that are leaving Kyle every morning is our talent that is going elsewhere, and, being productive in Austin. And so how can we keep them here to keep our workforce local? So recruitment of companies will help. Identify local companies to host student internship and teacher externship programs. There was some talk of maybe moving the teacher externship program to during the school year instead of the summers to have more participation. And then we're going to make a big effort to get students out to meet our local companies. We have Redbird flight simulators, I think would be great with, I know Johnson, right, has an aerospace program. And
We have the AOPA pilot preparation program that's similar.
Okay.
And we're working with the airport people, San Marcos. I forget what the program's called, but a guy named Bert Bronow at Johnson High School is leading that effort for us.
Okay.
Because when we talked to Texas Workforce Commission, they were saying that we have a shortage of pilots in the nation, and they really wanted us to focus on it. So we have a simulator as well. I don't know. It may be Redbird. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same or not.
And I know, I think I mentioned this last time, or Lauren may have mentioned it, but, we can also find if the school district needs tools or something to help train these students, we can identify those employers that may want to donate these tools. I know she had Lauren's husband and his company wanted to donate tools that the welding kids needed or plumbing, anything. I think we can find these employers that would be willing to
Great,
help
and we love
and make the
connecting.
donation.
Like Epic Pipe in San
Mhm.
Marcos, they've been working with Lehman High School, and they've offered not only time but also. So, I mean, they just have to reach out, and we started so many programs just because of either a shortage or someone's asked. And if we can get 10 or more kids that are
Mhm.
interested, then we can start it. So we just have to know what that looks like.
That's great. And then I think also, the local industry and employers know what like the latest tools and technology that's being used. And then if we could share that with the teachers, and then they are training on the most up-to-date materials. So all good things happening. Facilitate conditions between local companies and qualified candidates to fill job vacancies. So this is more like job, what do you call it? Hiring fairs, or that. I think we posted one in the past. I think Buda has one coming up too.
Mhm.
So if we identify any of our local companies that have openings, we can make sure that Texas Workforce Commission is aware of them, that our local community members. Maybe we can add a job board on our website. I know the chamber has a job board. So anywhere we can get this out to our local residents for work here locally. And then again, based off of the community college's expansion for their nursing, health science and nursing center, just collaborate with the local college and healthcare providers to expand job opportunities.
Yeah,
Got anything to add?
well, that's great. I when I read it, I took it as expand the number of job opportunities. To some extent, I would like the focus to be on improving the pipeline of qualified applicants. I mean, that's where I would think the bigger opportunity is. I mean, right now, if ACC Kyle were to produce 50 nurses that live in Kyle, we'd probably hire all of them,
Okay.
and that would be above the median for the city. I mean,
Okay.
I think that would be a nice way to drive some of that who live and work here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe instead of like expand job opportunities, more they create that talent pipeline for the medical.
I think you could
community.
just add it on there. Honestly, I think
Okay.
you could just amend the sentence just to
Okay, include that.
increase talent pool or increase pipeline of qualified applicants or something.
Okay, thank you. And then the fourth one is lead efforts to position Kyle as a top destination for family recreation and entertainment by enhancing facilities, increasing event offerings, beautifying the community, and actively promoting tourism. There's a lot going on in this sentence, but I wanted to make sure that we hit all these topics that we've been talking about. So family recreation, of course, that also falls in line with what our Parks Department is doing. The Parks is going to embark on a Parks master plan within the coming months. So, just supporting their efforts to enhance outdoor activities for families. And then I can try to work on indoor activities. I was jealous that Topgolf went to New Braunfels, but it's good for our neighbors to the south. But that's the kind of something fun like that, different, interactive that isn't in the area. But now that they have Topgolf, we will focus on something different. There's a lot of other golf concepts. There's pickleball concepts. There's a lot of just things that are growing in the entertainment world. So we'll be looking for those. Increasing event offerings. This is also just maybe highlighting what the Parks Department is doing. They are putting a lot of effort on events at La Verde Park, utilizing our new parks that we have. I think they have music at the park. In October, we are hosting a City Fest there. So the mayor will do his State of the City at this grand event that we're planning in October. So I'll make sure that you'll get an invitation to that. But it'll be fun. It'll be at La Verde with music. and games, activities, interactive games. All the city departments will be represented, and then at a certain it'll be during football season. So of course we'll have a big TV out there playing games and stuff, the local games. So it'll be a fun event. And then beautifying the community, we have efforts that we also want to undertake to incentivize and beautify blighted areas in the city, maybe old signs. Susan had identified an old sign that said exit here for gas or something, and that's been there for probably 25 years or so. So if we could incentivize that landowner to take that down, because the gas station's already there, we don't. Oh, the exits have changed. You're right about that. Yeah.
And it's all faded and yucky looking.
Yeah. So there will be two efforts on that end. One will be more of the very gentle code enforcement side of things. And then the other one will be, maybe it's more of an incentive to take that sign down. And by code enforcement, I mean like landscaping. There's some maybe trees that were planted that are dead now. Per your your site plan that you were approved through the city, you're required to keep your lawn maintenance and the trees alive. I know we are on a stage 3 restriction, but there's ways to plant drought resistant trees and landscaping that's drought resistant. So we'll work with people on that end. And then we are going to also have a social media. We've been talking with our communications department. This is Susan's initiative of really ramping up our social media and getting out there with it, so the community will understand a little bit more about our efforts and what we do. Maybe, all of it will be focused on and tied back to our strategic plan. Luke, I know you have 2 minutes. I know you got to go. Last one. Effectively implement effective strategies and resource management practices that ensure long-term fiscal sustainability while diversifying the tax base for economic resilience. And so this is where, the city owns several key properties around the community that have been donated by the developer. And so, we want to leverage those city-owned properties to attract investment and diversify. Some are slated for office, some are for restaurants, some are for industrial use, and then some are for hotel and convention center. So with the city having control of that land, then that allows us to really find the right partner and kick off development in certain areas. And then we're just making sure that we execute the plans for each TERS district to improve mobility, generate employment, and enhance amenities for residents. One of the things I wanted to mention back on key initiative number 5, promoting tourism, will also be bringing forth, if council approves this and wishes, a new branding initiative, moving away from maybe the Pie Capital theme and, really find with community involvement, what is our new brand. So that's it. We'll ask council to accept this and move forward, or I'm sure they'll have some feedback for me. Y'all generally think it's moving in the right area?
Points of discussion. And I know Luke's got to run, so I'll skip the formatting things and just kind of focus on the substantive stuff. Is looking at the data on the median income of staying in Kyle versus that difference is $80. And that's not worth the headache and the gas to drive up to Austin every day on the commute. So I'm worried that the data here does not support our assumption that the reason people live in Kyle is to seek a higher paying job, because that differential is not enough to justify that leaving. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe it is that higher rate of income based off median versus actual, and there's differences there. But that data doesn't stream to me to be the causal link that we're really emphasizing in our.
Maybe it's the actual type of job, the industry.
And maybe benefits also, but we don't know if it's benefits or if it's,
I assumed it was just job type, and
I
job
see.
availability.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tech, and there's no like Google down here.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
Like
good
if
to
you're
know.
hired to UT and you have to move here where do you move?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to maybe not highlight that people are leaving for higher paying jobs. It's the
Mhm.
type of jobs that,
Does not support that assumption in
Right.
a way that I would see as convincing.
Mhm. Okay,
Um,
thank you for noticing that.
And then the other item I'd highlight is that previous slide 13, where we have the breakdown of which sector
Mhm.
older jobs or people leaving for that. That tells me that we can really diversify, and we have to diversify and target multiple different sectors or sections of the economy. But it's also kind of a risk that we have in that no one area is more than like 10%. So even if we peel off 20% of any one sector, we're only going to see a 1 to 2% increase in retention. And so that's a weakness that could exist here with whatever that plan looks to be is we got to do a lot of different things to see any kind of substantive outcome.
Right. I'll make a note of that. I mean, this kind of stuff that council will probably pick up on too, so, okay.
And then I'll just point some formatting things whenever Luke has to leave.
Okay,
So,
any other comments?
I liked it. The only other thing for whatever reason, just, I guess me personally, I think about, in kind of the community section, increasing, venue space and things like that to keep families and people here. I still think we have an opportunity for restaurants too. The
Higher end restaurant?
Yeah, I think there's been a nice explosion of availability of restaurants, but I think there's still an opportunity there for kind of non-chain, maybe a little more higher end restaurants
Mm-hmm.
that I think
Okay.
it's maybe an underrepresented area for city.
Okay. Gonna make a note of that too.
Like when you
And
think of nice restaurants right now, many people think of Buda,
Mhm.
right? I mean, they
Right, and then there's
have
like
a couple good ones.
very unique, yeah, like mud bugs and
Mhm.
and Taste on Main.
Yeah.
You're right, and I think that could fall under maybe small business,
Yeah.
finding those
Small business,
small
yeah.
businesses, yeah, that and okay, so enhancing restaurant. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all very much for your feedback. What I'll do is I'll incorporate your feedback and let council know that once I do that, then you are in support of presenting it to them and the key initiatives. That'll go a long way for them also. They'll appreciate y'all looking through it. So, thank you. Okay.
All right. Anything else
No,
for
that's
today?
it. That's it for today.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for today. Any opposed? All righty.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
officially adjourned.
Who made the motion? Okay, Smith. Okay. Thank you, Luke, for your time.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. This is good.
This is-
Oh, yeah, thank you. Does everyone feel that this time is working well for them?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it too.
We'll keep it at the time.
I was like, oh, I've got enough time. No, I did not have enough.